Minister and Taoiseach and House, I want to respond to some of the points made today and just to highlight some areas that I think that maybe further attention is needed to in this process. I listened with interest to the Minister for Enterprise and Innovation, Minister Humphrey's speech, and I had studied the notes provided at the briefing on the 15th. I noticed there was one item about updating the Industrial Development Acts and one item under Business, Enterprise and Innovation. But in the, albeit scarce detail provided and in the speech just delivered, I don't see any mention of research and development or science and technology, and I would prevail upon the government to engage on issues like the Horizon 2020, FP9, which is the next round of European funding. There is a significant, I suppose, threat and opportunity in that fund with the departure of the UK, who would have been both a significant contributor and benefactor of that. And indeed, the scientific and research community is one very strong segment of the UK population which does not want to leave but may have no choice, but are very keen to engage and find other, perhaps bilateral or other arrangements by which they can continue to engage with Irish and European scientists. So I would prevail upon the government to engage there. Another item which I noted, and again I appreciate these are scant briefing notes, but another item I didn't see any in the 17 items for legislation. There's no mention of agriculture. I know Minister Creed spoke earlier, so I presume it's in there somewhere. I just didn't see it. And I suppose coming from Kildare, I want to highlight the importance of the equine industry, and I suppose the clear and present danger to places like the National Stud. I visited there recently and saw the direct impact on the horse breeding, stud farm, stables, bloodstock industry in Kildare and indeed around the country that Brexit looms. I do understand there is a tripartite agreement between Ireland, the UK and France, which covers some eventualities, not all. And again, I would put that to the government. Again, the documentation is very scarce. As has been mentioned already, it came in on the 19th of December, just before Christmas. We're beginning to see some of it fleshed out, but the detail is still very light, so it's hard to know what is and isn't in there. But again, if it's not in there, please put it in. Thirdly, the question of fisheries. Again, I don't see it in the docs. But the fisheries, many Irish fishermen from ports on the west coast and indeed the south east coast would travel up to fishing waters in the North Sea, waters west of Scotland, north of Ireland, and indeed out further out to little islands like Rockall and beyond. And I wonder what the provision is, in any scenario, for where the UK waters go, where the Irish waters go, where European waters go, and where do Irish fishermen turn their nets to next. There are three policy areas I want to mention. There's many more, but my time is limited. There's also opportunities, as we know. Maybe some few silver linings. We'll be the only English-speaking country in the European Union in the very near future. We will also be the only common law jurisdiction in the European Union in the very near future. And again, there's opportunities both in, I suppose, commerce, in investment, in job creation, and in litigation that can be taken advantage of those facts. However, the usual challenges that apply to domestically apply to attracting inward investment as well, be it housing and be it taxation and all the usual challenges that we grapple with in this House. But again, I hope those opportunities are being taken on board. I listened with interest and dismay to comments from the DUP over the last couple of days about the hard border or lack of a hard border, which I found perplexing. As somebody who has travelled over it as a child, family holidays, we would have gone to Giant's Causeway and the Gold Coast of Antrim and many other sites of interest. I remember vividly travelling over borders with barbed wire and pillbox concrete installation posts and soldiers interrogating my mother at gunpoint as she drove a car with buckets and spades in the back, and 4 or 5 children with curiosity and no small amount of fear as to what exactly was going on. But indeed others who have actually lived there, of course, know much more than I do. But I just think it's the height of ludicry to suggest that there was never a hard border. Maybe it wasn't as hard as you might have liked, but certainly it was very hard. And on that vein, I suppose I would also question what exactly happened between the Taoiseach and Minister Ross the other day. What exactly is the position? Is Minister Ross being more candid than others? Or where exactly do we stand in this position? Maybe it is time for some plain speaking and actually get the facts out there so we can all begin to understand what exactly is the position. We hope for the best but prepare for the worst. Has always been my approach to anything in life, and certainly something as fundamental as this. I think that would be key. Finally, I heard Sinn Féin comments with interest as well, particularly from Deputy MacDonald as leader, and I thought it was again the height of irony, if not hypocrisy, to criticise others for not being more active on some of these issues. I saw a video recorded with the Sinn Féin representative standing outside Westminster the night of the vote, criticising others for positions they were taking, while the vote was taking place behind them in the House of Parliament. If I was to stand on the plinth and criticise the vote taking place in here, I would rightly have no credibility whatsoever. So I find it ludicrous that Sinn Féin, but that is their position, nothing in the north, nothing in Westminster, and very little representation for their constituents. I yield to my colleague.